Death to Videodrome! Long live the new flesh. Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, here's a long anticipated, long promised review for one of my favourite of David Cronenberg's movies, Videodrome from 1983. Now, I've said many times that my favourite movies of Cronenberg are from the early years, before he went really existential and weird and took in Russian mafia and weird taxi rides, limousine rides through a fabulous cityscape and all craziness. It was the likes of The Brood, his most personal and possibly his nastiest, most mean-spirited movie. Scanners, his most explosive, mind-blowing movie. The Fly, his most commercially successful movie, and also a really, really good movie. And this, Videodrome, his most prophetic and perplexing, bewildering, mind-expanding movies. Now, Max Wren, played by James Woods. James Woods at his most paranoid, and it plays into the character, but James Woods himself was undergoing what Cronenberg himself cited as his paranoid phase. Do we all get paranoid phases? Do we? Do I? Do you? Do we? Who are you? Who's behind me? Do we all get paranoid phases? I don't know. But it plays into the jitteriness and the sort of passive-aggressive qualities of Max Wren when he undergoes this huge flesh-mutating odyssey when he encounters the signal that is Videodrome. Who is Max Wren? Max Wren is the guy that runs Civic TV, channel 83, Civic TV in Toronto. And this is a TV channel, a cable channel, that just supplies porn and filth and smut and the sleazy stuff that everyone really loves. But he's always on the lookout for something a bit more audacious, a bit more raw and nasty, the new thing. He wants to be on the cusp of getting the next big thing. And he's got his video pirate who surfs the airwaves and finds signals and broadcasts and gets new TV shows for him and films for him and copies them. And Harlan, played by Peter Dvorsky, that's Dvorsky, there's a silent D, which you can't help but try to put in when you say his name, Dvorsky. Harlan, who is great, he's like his engineer, and he stumbles across a 53-second, very fragmented, broken broadcast of something called Videodrome, which appears to be just a torture dungeon with electrified walls, pools of water, poor victims in the nude, strapped up to these walls, electrocuted, whipped, having all sorts of damage done to them, and ultimately killed. Max thinks, wow. He shows him, can you get a better signal for this? Well, no, it's 53 seconds, that's all I've got. And he's like trying to wait, he's got the TV aerial. The film is about analog before the advent of digital, and yet Cronenberg really was forward thinking that digital was going to come in. But we'll come on to all these concepts anyway. But he's trying to get a better signal on it. And but 53 seconds, well, where's it coming from? Well, with the delay and this, and da-da-da-da-da. I think it's come out somewhere in Malaysia. Oh, right, yeah, okay, right. Well, can you get another copy of that? Like, yeah, I'll keep monitoring this. So, Max Wren, he's got loads of other deals going on. He's got like a deal going for a series called Samurai Dreams, which is, it's softcore, Oriental porn, and video cassettes. It's pure video revolution during the early 80s. This film is about that and how physical media will become virtual reality and how we'll be sucked into it all. But video cassettes are huge in this movie, and they're Betamax video cassettes as well, because Beta was better, and that's the one that I got initially. I got VHS as well, and V2000, and all that other shite that came out, and Laserdisc. But so he's got all these deals going on, and he has this Eastern European, older, very much more mature babe who supplies him with sort of elitist softcore porn, and her name's Masha, I used to always think she was called Marsha. It's not, it's Masha, and she's played by Lynn Gorman. And she's great with this, aristocratic Eastern European accent and cigarettes on those holders and all that sort of thing. And she's showing him her latest line, whatever it's called, I can't remember now. And it's all like sort of Greco-Romano sort of orgies taking place, but it's all very nice. But Max says to her, like, Masha, it's like you. It's very sweet, it's very naive, it's lovely. But my audience want to see what's really happening beneath the sheets. Oh, but Max, mine has style. Yes. No, I need something raw, something gritty. Have you heard of Videodrome? Because he acts as an agent for her as well, and she acts as an agent for him. So she supplies stuff to him, and there's a corporate sort of organisation, fledgling, subterranean, as Masha calls it, which is a phrase I genuinely love. She uses it a couple of times in the movie. I'll check out the subterranean grapevine. This is subterranean TV, Max. It's underground. So you've got that kind of guerrilla aspect to broadcasting and a sort of a subculture taking place. Max wants to show the most extreme things. When Masha goes out to find out what Videodrome really is, she says to him, Max, be careful. Videodrome has something that you don't have, a philosophy, and that makes it dangerous. But Max is like, what? No, you don't want to mess with these people, Max. She has found out something. Max is just forever intrigued. In the meantime, Harlan keeps giving him videotapes of the latest broadcast, and he's getting more and more into it, like. And he's trying to find out where it really is coming from. Harlan stumbles on, like, I've actually worked out where it's coming from. And it's not coming from Malaysia. It's coming from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. I genuinely think that was like a sort of like a little nod and a wink to George Romero from Cronenberg. Don't forget, in that day and age, the big boys of horror were John Carpenter, David Cronenberg, George Romero. And Dario Argento was trying to, remember me. And they're going like, well, yeah, but you're not as good these days, are you? And he never has been as good since then. But, so a little nod to Romero and his Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh-based movie making. And so it's more homegrown. In the meantime, after a TV interview, he's met Nikki Brand, played by the luscious, the delectable, the ever-gorgeous Deborah Harry, with her actress's name. And she's been in a couple of movies, but really not acting, sort of rebellious, post-punk sort of things, Union City and all that. And Cronenberg had seen her and knew that she was from the rock band Blondie, and thought she's got the right look for this. And that right sort of, here's that word again, subterranean, that sort of edgy underground quality, a cult favourite, and also, she got someone else, she's got the right look, but can she act? And so we brought her in, and she plays Nikki Brand, who is a sort of, I was going to say shock jock, radio broadcasting therapist for people. She stands tall with the cans on her ears and the microphone down there, and she'll get, hey lover, and all this kind of thing. So people who are going, well, from what we see, going through problems, ordeals, psychosis, emotional dramas, and she will use her sensual charisma to talk them through, but give them advice at the same time. But a TV interview with Max Wren and Nikki Brand, and so it's a pastiche of many TV interviews that David Cronenberg himself sat through, endured during this period, about why your film is so nasty, so violent. Do you think it has an effect on your audiences? And that's what this is about, this interview. And Nikki Brand is sitting there, almost Basic Instinct style, with a very flame red dress on. And a lot of smoking going on as well. People are smoking on live TV, people are smoking all the time. And different age, folks. And Max is saying, like, look, I'm just giving the next big thing, what audiences want. Oh, what about you, Nikki? What do you think? I think Max is wrong and audiences don't need this at all. And he said, well, why are you wearing that dress then? What why are you wearing that dress? I mean, it's red. You know what Freud would say about that. And she admits, yes, I admit, I live in a heightened sensory sort of life. And, I'm not ashamed of that. And then he just turns around to it in a brilliant moment. It's like, I really want to take you out to dinner, And the poor TV host is just like, they have another guest who is not there physically. He's there in the form of a face on a TV screen. And he is Brian Oblivion. Cronenberg's movies have some of the best names ever in movies. Just the best, most ridiculous names. But Cronenberg says, I am having a laugh with these names. You do realise that, don't you? It's not like I don't know, But Brian Oblivion, played by, hang on one second, Jack Creeley. And this is a guy that he only talks, his only discourse is in monologues. We'll find out that he's actually dead, and his daughter, played by Sonia Smith's Bianca Oblivion, has his last few years of life stored in a vast library of video cassettes. So his interviews, she just selects a few cassettes, and so his answers to questions are just in the form of monologues. Don't really give anything away, but he's saying, the television screen is the retina of the mind's eye. Some great famous quotes from this movie, of course, long live the new flesh and all this kind of stuff, and the retina in the mind's eye. But so he gives his answer, but Max will obviously get off with Nikki Brand, and he'll show her some of these video cassettes of Videodrome, and just because she says, you've got any porn, as she's going through his collection, and he's kind of relaxed about the whole thing. I mean, his TV show is about this. He's been told that Videodrome is snuff, but he doesn't believe that. Snuff was a huge thing at this time as well. You've got to remember there were films literally called Snuff, and there were underground cassettes of people being tortured, beaten, abused, murdered, raped. Now, there's no myth to this. These genuinely, they were a huge thing, but they were happening, and they were pure guerrilla stuff. I know this for a fact because I've seen a couple of these, because seeing is believing, and once you see it for real, then you know it's real. I also spoke to, because being at that time, I had a firearms license, so I was armed. This is in the UK as well, folks. It's a different kettle of fish to you guys in America. And so me and my father, big Kilt Papa, had a great relationship with the police, and they came around to our house all the time because they loved my dad's collection in militaria. I'm going off on a very slight tangent here, but don't worry, I'm going to reel myself back in again. But they would tell us a lot of horror stories which wouldn't make the press, wouldn't make the headlines on a news broadcast. But we knew these things existed, and these guys were saying, it is happening. Snuff movies do exist, but a whole subculture surrounding this, and fake movies came out of purporting to be snuff movies. So the argument on that TV show is why do people want to watch that kind of thing? Why do people want that raw, horrible, visceral, harrowing experience? Why do they want to have that? Well, that's a much bigger question, because people do. Why else, when there's an accident? And this is what Cronenberg foresaw as well. Although Cronenberg himself says, I'm not a prophet. I've never thought this is what's going to happen. In all his movies, I've never thought this will come to fruition. And yet, so many movies have ideas and concepts which do exactly come to fruition. So he's, without trying to be, he's not consciously thinking ahead. He's just having these ideas and putting them into a script and then making the movie. And then these ideas actually seem to form themselves. Cronenberg, you're a genius, sir. Yeah. Your foresight is amazing. But when it's an accident, people, nowadays, what happens straight away? They don't run to help somebody. The first thing they do, the phone comes out and they start filming. It's funny how a phone should be a phone. Hello, hello. I'd like to order a pizza, please, or a taxi, or some tickets for the theatre. But no, a phone now is a means of watching stuff, streaming stuff. Again, I'm racing ahead here, but it's a way, it's a media device in your hand everywhere you go. You can watch stuff, you can access stuff, and you can film stuff as it happens. Someone getting beaten to death, you're not going to intervene, you're going to film it. You're going to film it. And that's what he's getting at. You know, people watch spectacle, they watch outrage, they watch atrocity. Now we don't believe, you know, genocide took place in this village in, you know, Eastern Africa, or in Serbia, or now in the Ukraine, until we see, show me footage. Well, we can't show you this. But then people like Harlan, who's the video pirate that Max Wren uses, can always find stuff. And you can always find stuff. It might take a bit more detecting to do, a bit more sleuthing. And then once you found it and you viewed it, you'll wish you never had. But like Videodrome itself, the theme of the movie, being exposed to violent scenes, violence, sex, depravity, kind of becomes an addiction and people want to see more. Does it actually, is it a causal thing? So does it make people actually commit acts of violence? In some cases, it plays a catalyst in people doing it, because there are serial killers that film what they've done. I mean, there you go, there's snuff again. So it's genuinely there. And this is the concept of the movie. Violence as a medium, broadcast into your mind, viewed on a screen, talked about. You then become addicted and perpetrate it yourself. A lot more ideas than that though. So anyway, I've forgotten where we're up to with the but he's formed an attachment now with Nikki Brand. And Nikki Brand likes a bit of S&M. I mentioned the names. Nikki Brand. Now there's a whole reason why her name is Nikki Brand. As Max discovers, they watch a bit of Videodrome and she loves it. And she's totally smitten by it, as he becomes sort of slowly smitten by it. He sees it initially as a business prospect. This is the next big thing. It's the new thing. I want to make this. I want to put it on Channel 83, my Civic TV. I want to take it out there. I want to bring this to the masses. It's the next big thing. He's got business partners who are like, well, I don't know, Max. You know, are you sure about this? Yeah, this is the next thing. It's happening. You know, we need to be there at the start of this. We need to bring it in. So he's doing detective work, trying to find out who runs Videodrome in Pittsburgh. Find me, then I want to speak to them. Anyway, but Nikki Brand, that name, he discovers she has scratches, well, slashes on her neck and the shoulder, collarbone. Nicks with a razor blade. Nikki, she takes a cigarette and she burns her breast with the cigarette. Brands herself. Nikki Brand. Cronenberg said, you know, I knew this was too on the nose, but I just couldn't resist it. And it's brilliant. It's a brilliant name. Because I don't think a lot of people don't really get that. But once you realise, you go, oh my God. It's genius. So she then says, look, I've got some time. No, hang on. She lies to him and she says, I'm being sent on an investigative sort of mission to Pittsburgh. Oh, right, okay, yeah. And while I'm there, I think I might audition for Videodrome. He's like, yeah. She goes, I was made for that show. He said, no one was made for that show, honey. You know, don't be doing that. Listen, they're dangerous. These people, these subversive underground snuff movie makers, you know, they've got bad connections. Don't mess with them. Even they play harder than even Nikki Brand wants to play. But off she goes anyway. He will discover that she actually didn't, it wasn't a mission, a job she was sent on. She took leave to go and do this. And but Brian Oblivion, Masha, remember Masha, the Eastern European lady, who I think she's a sensational character, I've got to be honest. I love that accent as well. I'm not going to attempt to do it. She says, you know, look, don't mess with Videodrome, Max, because it's dangerous, it has a philosophy and all this. Masha, just give me a name. You don't have to be involved. Give me the name, I'll go and find them. I'll speak to them. Oh, okay, but Max, you owe me. And the name, Brian Oblivion. So the guy on the TV screen, who at this point you think is a real living, breathing character, just maybe a very crazy eccentric. So he goes off to the cathode ray mission. This is genius, folks. This is, what Cronenberg's got going here is he's foreseen that TV, reality TV, the medium of watching other people, is the drug that we all need. We're all addicted to, whether you like it or not, whether you admit it or not, we're all addicted to it. So he said, but people haven't got access to TV. I'll have this sort of mission. Brian Oblivion runs the cathode ray mission. So people, all the down and outs queue up there and they get given like a booth. Sounds dead seedy. Well, it is dead seedy. And they've probably got, instead of like having a soup kitchen, it's you get your fix from a TV screen, just watching stuff on TV, anything. Max goes in there as a wander around all these little weird cubicles and cul-de-sacs and partitioned off little areas where all these people are sitting there and there's watching operations or animals hunting on safari, just anything, just to get their fix from the screen. And he meets Bianca Oblivion, who is obviously Brian Oblivion's daughter. And he talks his way in there. He's like, I want to know about Videodrome. She goes, what do you know about Videodrome? No, it's the new thing. If your father doesn't know about it, he needs to, because there's some serious gaps in his knowledge. He needs this. You just say Videodrome and you don't want to talk to me. So what happens is she sends him some video cassettes of Brian Oblivion, because he said, my father does not have a discourse with anyone. He sends all his communications via videotape. So I'll see where his reply is and I'll get them sent to you. So he gets these tapes. And of course, the more he sees of Brian Oblivion says, like, it's all this sort of weird mantra-like gospel of technology. Brian Oblivion is based on a fella called Marshall McLuhan. It was a Toronto-based philosopher, professor, worked at Toronto University. He was a guru of technology and communications. And at the time when Cronenberg was young, he was huge, he loomed large. When Cronenberg went to university, McLuhan was actually teaching in that university, but Cronenberg never had a chance to meet him. And he said, I just wish I had that moment, but he never got that. So Brian Oblivion is based upon him, and Jack Creeley plays it really well. He's got if you look at pictures, I interrupted myself there. He's got a big tash and all that, but a baldy head and little bits going on around the back and sides. But if you look at pictures of Marshall McLuhan, that does look a bit like Marshall McLuhan, and so he's giving him the alternate reality to what's really happening. And what we find out is that I was going to call him Marshall McLuhan then, because I love that name. But Brian Oblivion, which is an even better name, did create Videodrome, but with a different idea. And the people he was working with wrestled it from him, and they had him assassinated. And he now lives in, but it was a slow assassination, because the point of Videodrome is it is a corrupting, cancerous signal, which when you view it, once it gets in there, it'll change you. It'll change your mind, it'll change your body, or it'll make your mind think that your body has changed. And therein lies the rub, as they say. So Max learns more about Videodrome. Well, who exactly is in charge of this? Who are the guys that took it from you? I still need to find out what's happening. And he's having more and more hallucinations. Nikki Brand has gone off to Pittsburgh and met Georgia Murdo and been eaten alive by zombies in a mall. No. She suddenly appears on Videodrome. Suddenly, his TV begins to pulsate and undulate. As you can see there, Nikki Brand's lips will fill the screen, and the screen will burst forward and seduce our boy, Jimmy Woods, Max Wren. Ooh. The cassettes that Bianca Oblivion has given to him, the video cassette comes alive. The spools at the back, like eyeballs, pop out. Drops it on the floor. What the hell is that? Kicks it. What's going on? You know, then plays it, and it's Brian Oblivion giving him this sort of obtuse, over the top embroidery as to what's really happening without saying what's happening, just describing around it. It's very illusionary and visionary at the same time. And Max now realizes, look, you know, these guys who run Videodrome, there's danger here as well. So he's got a Walther PPK, believe it or not, which is a brilliant touch. A Walther PPK, James Bond's gun, and he has this weapon, and we see him topless but with a shoulder holster on. And in one of the film's many celebrated effect sequences, Rick Baker's effects, folks, Rick Baker's effects. We'll come on to all this. He says to Bridie, I think her name. Oh no, her name's Friday, but her real name is Bridie, the actress, who's his secretary at Civic TV, in this sleazy sort of like, you know, they've got whatever they're broadcasting, whatever stuff they've got going. They've obviously got a couple of rooms in this sort of warehouse. So there's constant toing and froing. Equipment, cameras are being moved around. Everyone seems to love Max. And Friday, who gives him his wake-up calls in the morning, clearly loves Max as well. And she's turned up, and Max has been getting his gun ready, but he's crap with the gun. He hasn't got a clue how to use it. So Christ, it all falls apart when they knock on the door. And he tries to hide it all under covers and stuff like. And she comes in and gives him these cassettes, and he slaps her in the face twice, because the first slap, she then turns into Nikki Brand. So he slaps her again, and but he hasn't. It's all hallucination. And he's like, look, I didn't mean to hit you. I'm sorry about that. She said, Max, you all right? You didn't hit me. What are you on about? So now we've seen the video cassettes come alive. We've seen these weird transmissions. We've heard a lot of weird stuff. Max's world is completely mutating now. And it happens in a very sort of subtle degree of layers as the film goes on. And from this point on, when you rewatch the film again, you will never be sure at what point things have stopped becoming reality, or how much of it is real and how much is just in Max's mind. So he hasn't hit her at all, but like, oh, you know, I think I'm getting a rash. He says, like, starts itching his stomach. She goes off. He begins to watch Brian Oblivion's tapes, and that rash, he's sitting there topless with the shoulder holster on, but he's using his gun to itch this rash on his belly. Looks down again, his belly's opened up. You know what I'm coming to here. And it's become a vaginal slit in his belly. A tummy cunt, yes. And it's so absurd, but it's genius as well. And the heightened sense of paranoia that Max Wren's going through, and filtered through the reality that James Woods was having paranoiac episodes. He starts scratching, and for some unknown reason, he puts the gun hand holding the gun into this slit, and it's like, why is he doing that? And he's rummaging around in there, and the next thing, his hand comes out, but where's the gun? Gun in gut. Oh God, no. But you see him looking for the gun. He's hurling stuff around. I love this shot as well. If you look on the table, there's a glass of orange juice and there's a glass of whiskey. And he hurls one of the cushions away, and it skittles the glass of orange. But when he sits down in like a panic, the glass of whiskey survived. Yeah, man. Oh, at this point. Cheers, y'all. I am, of course, playing Howard Shore's incredibly ominous and sensual score for Videodrome. We'll talk about that a bit more later. So yeah, he's lost his gun now, but things are now rocketing ahead. He will see more of Videodrome, and he will see Nikki Brand being killed on Videodrome. He will also end up whipping the TV. She will become a living, breathing image on the TV screen. but the TV will suddenly become the Videodrome arena with all of that sort of clay walls with electrodes in it. By the way, Cronenberg said he got the idea for that clay wall, this sort of red or ochre tinted wall, clay wall with electrodes in it, from some movie he saw when he was a kid. Well, the movie he's talking about, it's either SS Experiment Camp or it's Gestapo's Last Orgy. It's one of those Nazi video nasties, which was shit, but you know, and not even that bad at all when it comes down to it. But that's in one of those, I forget which one it is. You've got a wall of electrodes like that, and that's what he'd seen. And ironic being that in Canada, that sort of film would be an underground, like in the UK, Video Nasties and The Big Purge, which this film clearly all addresses in many ways about the video nasty purge and the causality between viewing violent material and then reenacting it, which is what the law seemed to think. It drive everyone insane. I know. I haven't hit the big revelation yet. That's coming. But so he whips hair as well, and he's already had a big sex scene with Debbie Harry. Oh, jammy bastard. And done some ear piercing with her, and she's later on done the cigarette brand. Now, the thing about the ear piercing, which is actually, David Cronenberg felt sick actually doing this scene, because he didn't like that. I'm not a fan of it myself. Body piercing may look great in the end result. Cenobites, yay, you rule. But goth chicks, yes, love you. But the actual, no way. And I mean, Mrs. Kilt-Man has pierced ears, and you know, nobody's there. I don't see her putting them in. But so when you see him with the pin, the needle, putting it through her ear, she's already got pierced ears, so they weren't doing it for real. But censorship issues were there, or you know, they didn't like that scene, along with many other scenes, of course. So Nikki Brand, as a physical human being, as a character, has now left the building. She's now left the movie, but you'll see her again, but under the auspices of Videodrome, and she'll give him instructions. We now meet Barry Convex, another one of these fucking crazy names, played by Les Carlson. And Barry Convex, as the name would suggest, he runs a techno corporation which does spectacles and other stuff as well. Spectacles, convex lenses, and all that kind of stuff. Called Spectacular Optical, and Max has now learned a fair bit that Videodrome is very dangerous, it's very real, and it is something a lot more than he anticipated. So he gets a call. Look, you know, Max, we've been watching you, and we need to bring you in. You know, we need to have a little chat. My name's Barry Convex. My car's outside. Come and see me. I wouldn't do this, but Max goes off in this limo and gets taken to basically it's a real shop front in Toronto. A little pause here. Cronenberg loves filming in his hometown of Toronto and then going back there, because he said, like, I've filmed movies here and on these streets, and when I walk them now, it's so weird. I know what crazy stories I've concocted. Scanners and Videodrome use almost the exact same sort of shot of limos driving down this main street in Toronto. I don't know the name of this street, don't even ask me. But all those shot fronts are real. In Scanners, it's a great big, there's a couple of sequences, and they're usually shotguns and revolvers and automatics. Assassins killing each other and all that, killing Scanners. Great action sequences in Scanners. In this, it's just a drive-by, but it's Max in this limo going to Spectacular Optical. But I love watching it. It's filmed the same way. Cronenberg's clearly in another van, where it cuts out with the cameras going through it, filming this car coming up on the sort of rain-sodden streets of Toronto. And I love it. I think it looks great. It looks very vibrant and modern. Anyway, so he gets to Spectacular Optical, and he will meet Barry Convex. In a great scene, you see him trying on spectacles, you know, and those little drawers. I don't wear gigs, so I don't know, but I've been in these places before, and I've seen people, you know, when they put the glasses on, the little label hanging down over the nose, looking ridiculous. And he's doing all these, but Barry Convex comes out, who is a slimy, oh my god, slimy evangelical bastard, and he's like, you know, you better be careful with that machinery on your face there, Max. It's like, machinery? What is the machinery on his face? A pair of spectacles? What? So, yeah, got a lot to talk about. Step inside. And they then, look, he says, like, look, Videodrome is it's a lot more to Videodrome than just snuff TV. I think you've seen the effects already. The hallucinations, it's got in there. Once you've been, you know, brought into Videodrome, then there's no way out of it. And I want to record one of your hallucinations, if you don't mind, so we can analyze it, so we can hone and tone the signal, the Videodrome signal, because now you know it's more powerful. There's a lot we can do with this. And it's basically, Max, are you in? Are you out? But by the way, you're in, because once you've seen Videodrome, there ain't no going back from it. So they give him this big sort of, almost like Brainstorm, the Doug Trumbull movie, the big sort of headpiece, helmet, sensory visual gear, preempting virtual reality, of course. Now, if you look at this sequence, that is not James Woods wearing it, because James Woods, as Cronenberg says, was going through his paranoid phase. And he was kept saying to Cronenberg, look, are we okay with this? Are we all right? They're watching us, aren't they? And Cronenberg's like, no, Jimmy, listen, you know, I'm in charge. These are my sets. This is my film crew. Don't worry about a thing. I'm in charge. No one's watching us. And like Cronenberg now says, like, oh, maybe Jimmy was channeling the paranoia that Max Wren was meant to have. But either way, James Woods refused to wear that headgear, which is a great big, stupidly cumbersome thing, which all lights up and all that. And so he said, like, no, I'm not doing it. I will not wear that. I'm sorry, I won't wear it. So in the film, I've now told you, and when you look at it, you'll quite clearly see, although if you didn't know it, you wouldn't have spotted it. It's David Cronenberg sitting there wearing that in the same clothes that James Woods wears, although Jimmy Woods was a bit more skinny, so he had to cinch up the pants behind him. And he's sitting in a chair, and he's got this ridiculous thing on his head. He's holding up his hand in front of his face. But from there down, you can see, once you know, it's David Cronenberg's mouth and chin. Once you spot it, you go, of course it is. Looks nothing like Jimmy Woods. Jimmy Woods has got his pockmarked face and his dimples and all that. And so he holds up his hand and all that. But Nikki Brand comes in, and they want to film this. But next thing you know, Max Wren wakes up in his apartment, and how do I get back here? What? I don't get this. And there's someone lying next to him. Is it Nikki Brand? Is it Barry Convex? No, it's Masha, the old, mature Eastern European babe, dead. Tied to the bedstead, the headboard, and she's been killed. And he's like, oh, Jesus Christ. So he calls his video pirate mate, Harlan, Peter Dvorsky, calls him, bring your camera, get in here, get here now. So he does, and he's going like, Sea Patrol and all that, like with his little tagline. So he comes in, and he's like, look, get in my bedroom there and film what you see in the bed. Take pictures of it now, do it now, do it now. And he's like, you want me to go into your bedroom and film what's in your bed? Just do it, don't ask her, just do it. And he's shaking, he's fucking chain smoking and all that, like, still can't find me gun, it's in my belly somewhere, you know, oh my God, you know. So Harlan goes, you know what's coming next. He's going to go out like, listen, Max, what was I meant to see in there? You mean you didn't see anything in there? No, I didn't see anything in there. What? He says to him like, and there's no body there. Masha's gone, you know, and he's like, have you been having any hallucinations lately? And like Harlan's like, should I have had any hallucinations? Like Max is like, yeah, you should, because you've been watching Videodrome. Well, that is not the case, is it? Because Harlan has not been watching Videodrome at all. He's been, whenever it's been shown in their little antenna Radio Shack thing where he harnesses all the broadcasts, and he's put a tape on for him, you look at this, or rather he's shown him a broadcast. He hasn't shown him a broadcast, they are videotaped, and Max watches it, so straight away the signal's in there, and like Harlan has never been looking at the screen himself. So what is going on? What is happening? He goes back to Bianca, and Bianca Oblivion, and she says, look, my father is dead. He was killed by his partners who wanted to take Videodrome and use it for their own means. He died on an operating table like 11 months ago or something like that. He now lives in this vast library of videos. This is the revelation now about Brian Oblivion. And then we get another sequence of, he wants Harlan to look, you've got to start getting these tapes. You've got to start doing something because this is going crazy. Listen, Patron, this is now out of my league. I've got to bring in the reinforcements here, mate. So he opens the door and Barry Convex comes in. And the two, Harlan and Barry Convex, stand there staring at Max. And Max is like, you, oh, come on now. What's happening here? Well, we gave you the prototype. You've had visions. Now you're ready for the next step, Max. The next step in your evolution. And what it is, and this is one of many revelations. What's his name? Barry Convex and Harlan are part of an organisation which was stemmed from the people that created Videodrome, the ones who were in partnership with Brian Oblivion and had Brian Oblivion wiped out. They want to use Videodrome because the signal, you don't have to watch S&M. You haven't got to watch that, snuff. It can be shown under a test card, under just a broadcast dot of a signal, but the signal itself goes directly fed into your brain. As long as you're looking at it, it's in there and it will corrupt you. It'll form physical and emotional, psychological and existential cancer within you. It'll form tumours within you. It'll make you perform violent acts. And why are they doing this? Well, here's the thing that a lot of people don't seem to get. And it's political. It's moralistic. It is the evangelical zeal of the moral high right brigade against the liberal lefties, allowing all sorts to happen. As Harlan says, North America's gone soft. The weak, because they're watching filth, they're watching porn, they're watching just crap TV. But now we're going to use their own device, they want to watch that. Well, we're going to give them it, but we're going to send the signal down, and we're going to destroy all the weak of North America. This is not that massively spelled out, and Cronenberg plays a real ace card here by you're still reeling from the fact what's real and what isn't. There's a guy that lives in TVs. He just exists on video cassette, you put a gun inside your own vaginal tummy. What's going on? Oh please, TV screens are pulsating and coming out into the real world with big lips on them. What the hell is happening? Video cassettes undulate. Everything's moist. What's going on? Cronenberg really plays this superbly. You've got to think, well, what is your crusade? And that is it. They want to take down the weak and the unjustified of North America and put North America back as a moral high ground. Good fucking luck with that one. Democracy, schmocracy. But then you get another great sequence. Max, open up. I've got something I want to play for you. So they will have the video cassette. this weird spectral wind billows up and his hair blows back. He goes back against the door. His shirt opens up and his vaginal orifice opens up. And Barry Convex puts the cassette in, and he's like, "Oh!" It's a shocking sequence. You're like, it's male penetration, and it's what the hell? It's video cassette in there. He's already got a gun in there. He's dead skinny. There's no room for any of this stuff. But it's a program. He's being programmed. So they say to him, like, look, as he's convulsing on the floor and crawls away, give us channel 83, Max. Give us your channel. Give us channel 83. Kill your partners, Max. Kill them and give us channel 83. The video cassette has now programmed him. So now you've got people who are being programmed. The Matrix came, what? Hang on, this was 83, that was 1999. A hell of a lot, I can't do the maths. It was a lot longer afterwards, almost 20 years later. No. Oh, whatever, I can't work it out. I don't care either. But a long time afterwards, the Matrix came out. So Max then has been programmed by the bad guys, or what we perceive to be the bad guys. So suddenly finds his gun again, reaches in, there's his Walther PPK, and in another great and very raw prosthetic effect from Rick Baker, we see it genuinely send out metallic tendrils, which then pierce his forearm and his wrist, and the gun becomes part of him. It becomes a handgun, literally a handgun. Brilliant. And he then goes into his office and he goes and executes his two business partners, because now he's under their control and he's got to go and, take out them so he can give channel 83 to these bastards, to Barry Convex and Spectacular Optical. But then he's got another instruction. He's on the run as well, by the way, because he's been seen by everyone executing these people, but he manages to get away with all this. Go and kill, Bianca Oblivion. Kill Bianca Oblivion. So he goes back to the cathode ray mission. Nighttime, breaks in there. And apparently, you see him, he breaks a back window in the door with his elbow. And he was meant to put his fist through it. But apparently, James Woods had an accident when he was a lot younger, where he did put his arm through a window and was quite badly injured. I myself have done the same thing, and it wasn't just my arm, it was my entire body. Went through a plate glass doorway, and I was cut to ribbons. Ribbons, I tell you. And so I'm covered, literally bedecked in scars. But it always reminds me of that. And he said, again, the paranoia of James Woods. He was like, I'm not doing that now. So I'll go, fucking use your elbow then. We'll pad up your elbow. It's only sugar glass. Don't worry about it. Boosh! Gets in there and lies in wait for Bianca. But Bianca, when she arrives, and there's a bit of a chase, she's going to change things around. Oh, I see, they've got to you. I always knew they'd use you as an assassin, because their father created Videodrome. They took him out. It was obviously, it was going to happen. They were going to come and take her out as well. But she then puts on, in these little partition rooms, these booths where all the homeless go and watch their fix of TV. The TV screen's there. And it's Nikki Brand saying, ready for the next step. Max, you're going to come and join me. Oh, whatever, she says. And in a great moment, which reminds me of what would happen later in Nightmare on Elm Street, when Freddy's hand comes out the wall above Nancy and his face looms out as well. You get this hand pushing through this, the flesh of a TV screen, veins, sinews, muscle, ligaments, and this hand comes through, and it's obviously holding a weapon, and it's a very phallic, penis, bulbous, helmeted weapon, which then shoots Jimmy Woods, Max Rem, but he's not dead. Now, when you've got to change over, you've got to kill the old flesh to make way for the new flesh. It's always painful. Max, now you're ready. I've got someone I want to play for you. So Bianca Oblivion is now going to reprogram Max to go and take out these bastards. So this little subterranean war is really taking place. We know that Barry Convex has a big sort of one of these conglomerate, shows, all the new line, the Medici range of spectacles are going to be out there. Now, this is not addressed in the movie, but the very fact that he said when we saw Max wearing these spectacles, he's like, yeah, you know, you want to be careful with that machinery on your face. That's not quite you. Maybe something a bit smaller, you know. Machinery. Clearly, although it's not stated in the film, they're going to use somehow or other with these spectacles the signal from Videodrome. People are going to be wearing these, and somehow that's going to be impregnated within these spectacles. They'll be more receptive to the signal, perhaps, or it's just inbuilt into it. Who knows? And so, funny enough, John Carpenter would explore a similar theme with They Live. The spectacles would show reality. Because the world's in black and white when you take the spectacles off, and it's full of face-ripped aliens. But so Bianca Oblivion, look, she puts a cassette into him, and she will change the program. Now go and fight these guys. So his first port of call. He's now on the run. He's a wanted man. He goes back into the shop, which is Spectacular Opticals on that main road in Toronto, and there's a fucking cop sitting there. And like when you watch it, you think, surely you could have made something more of this, because it's dead subtle. Like Max Wren just walks in and he sees the cop, and then someone is in the front of the frame, and he passes this person, and you see him like that. It's very subtly done, but clearly he's really shit. You know, I need to keep quiet, because he's on the front of newspapers. He's on like TV broadcast. You've got a homeless guy. He said, "Do you want to pay to watch the monkey dance?" And he's got a TV screen there. He said, "Look, no, come on, you got to pay." This is to Max. Max is waiting to see whoever goes into Spectacular Optical shop. Who's waiting with this guy? Look, you got the batteries cost money. They run dry. You got to pay me. Max just fucking annoys him. But Max is on the TV screen, you know, on the newscast. So he goes in. There's a copper there, but he just managed to hide his face. And then you get like this Jamaican salesman comes out, which is a really bizarre sort of left field character that comes out of nowhere, does nothing, but just gives a load of patois, and it's just weird. But he goes into the back because he's seen Harlan go in there, and it's like a warehouse, and they're packing up stuff in these boxes. And he's going like, Harlan's a bit surprised. Oh right, yeah. What's in the box? Oh, it's your head. Your head's in the box. Oh, my head. Yeah, my head. That prototype thing, the recording, whatever they've done, they've used that to weaponize it and send it out, ship it out. But, you know, Harlan, you know, we work together. Yeah. 2 years, 2 glorious years, you know, Patron. But Harlan seems to think, like, hang on a second, have you killed Bianca? We didn't think you'd be back so soon. You want to do some more for us? Well, yeah, I do, yeah. Oh, well, that's great. Picks up a video cassette. Max, open up. I've got something I want to play for you. Shoves his hand into that tummy cunt, and can't get his hand back. Max just clenches up, and he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? His hand finally comes back. Not a hand. It's a potato masher hand grenade from the First World War. What the Germans would use as stick grenades as well. And his hand is it's this bloody stump, but it's a grenade, and it's clearly gonna go off. And that wind, that spectral wind picks up, and Harlan's hair's blowing back, and it goes against the wall like that. People around him can see this, and they're going, running and screaming. Harlan, boof, blows up. Max escapes through the hole in the wall, and he goes to the big, this big show, this big sort of press show for the Medici line, this big hotel, and you've got a really crappy stage show. The thing about Barry Convex is he's a Billy Graham style evangelist, a sleaze bucket basically, but he's got his fingers in this Videodrome technocratic sort of pool. He's got this, and he can use this, and we can change the mindset of North America, make a lot of money at the same time. So this line, and he comes out super sleaze, marches out on stage with his microphone. You know, you all know me, and I know all of you, every single one of you. And they're all going, woo, 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 woo. Barry, Convex. convex, all this shit like. But Max is there, and now his gun has completely mutated. His hand is just a glistening, pustulant mass of purples, reds, and blues and veins. With it's just combined, but the gun barrel is there, and he comes up on stage, and Barry's like, "What? No!" And like, boom, 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 puts bullets into Barry, kills him live on stage, or should that be kills him dead on stage, and then grabs the mic in a great moment. You know, he's just like, "Death to Videodrome, long live the new flesh," and then boom, mic drop, brilliant. But as he walks off, in a scene that was always cut out the UK version, Barry's Videodrome tumours erupt from his body, his chest, his stomach, bits and bobs, intestines, and these tumours come bursting out. His face splits and his brain comes out, and all sorts of other bits and horrible oogly boogly bits are all like pulsating, and then blood spews everywhere. So Max has killed his. Did I mention this before? I probably did. Max has killed his partners, so he's on the run anyway. But now he's killed Barry Convex in public as well. So, and this great shocking Rick Baker. Rick Baker wasn't one of the ones for gore. I know American Werewolf London, and then he did the Wolfman. But gore-wise, he hadn't done his thing was creature creation, but he didn't really put himself out for gore effects. But with American Werewolf London, Incredible Melting Man, and with this, he went out there, yeah. And the gore is extreme. It's wonderful. But is it a vision? Is it real? Well, who the hell knows? If Max is seeing it, then you've got no basis in reality. Whatever Max sees and perceives, that's neither here nor there, is it really? But Max will then take himself off to the harbour, and he'll go and find a little tugboat, and he'll get inside this, and he'll have the final revelations. Bizarrely, somehow or other, a TV is in the hold of this boat, and Nikki Brand is there, and she'll say, "Look, you've got to take the next step now. You know, you've got to kill yourself. Don't worry about it though. It's just the next phase. You know, it's not as bad as you think." So clearly, you're meant to believe that she went off to, well, wherever she went, and she was killed and became part of the Videodrome signal, the Videodrome broadcast, targeted specifically towards Max. And he sees himself on a TV screen, and he says, you know, "Death to Videodrome, long live the new flesh," which is the tagline for Cronenberg's oeuvre throughout the decades. And then kills himself, and the TV explodes with real pig guts, because there was there was an esteemed butcher's place down the road with all like meats and pork and piggy bits. So they got all that, and they exploded this Rick Baker TV, undulating TV set, which is actually branded Videodrome as well. And all these guts and intestines come flying out. And then in the climax of the movie, the real Max Wren stands there with the gun. Kills himself. Movie ends. Videodrome has so many ideas. There are moments where Brian Oblivion says, like, you know, we will not exist in the real world. Our reality will be the television reality. We will all have different names, he says. We'll have our television name. We all have passwords and avatars, don't we? We have user IDs on all our forums, all our platforms, all our streaming platforms and devices. We have our own little names, our own little image will be there. Cronenberg said that one of the things which struck him, which entered the making of this movie, was coming back home to Toronto and travelling those streets that he loved to film on, which he'd lived on, and just channel surfing, you know, on TV late at night, done interviews and that, like, and he'd be like going through all the channels, and he'd see himself on screen being interviewed, and that initially was like, oh Christ, there's me. Oh, I'll watch a bit of that. Then it became too normal just to see yourself on a screen looking back. Now, I can totally equate to that because I'm looking at myself on this screen right now, and I don't like what I see. But I understand that. You guys all understand that as well. We now have that device, the phone, and we film ourselves and we put it on TV and we do whatever, Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So we now live in a world where we see ourselves and we have a persona. Whether you like it or you don't, whether you're honest about this or you're not, you have a persona when you're on screen. You change. It's a mask. It's a veneer. And we all do it. On your Facebook accounts, on your Instagram, or whatever the hell you think you Twitter. I just do Facebook. I don't do anything other than that, apart from this. But you have, a persona, a character, like to be perceived a certain way. There's only one person I know in my life that is not like that, and that's my wife, who has no pretensions, no airs and graces. What you see is what you get. She is exactly who she says she is, and there's no pretense, no filters, no nothing. There's no character building. It's just, I'll put pictures of myself and the kids. This meal I've had. Whereas me, I will stage act stuff for Facebook, and I do this, of course. And so Cronenberg was so accurate with that. He said that wherever you go in the movie, there's a TV screen, or whether it's a vision, hallucination, or whatever. But like on the tugboat, the hold of a tugboat, there's a fucking TV screen there. But now we have the means, as I said before, of accessing media, movies, TV, all the time. Wherever you are in the world, you've got it. You've got this little device which gives you access to it all. So the Videodrome signal could be transmitted to every single one of us all the time that we're exposed to looking at the screen. And again, looking at yourself on the screen, although I'm used to looking at myself on the screen, and I don't really watch my videos back, but I've got friends who are subscribers who's like, oh, I'm just kicking back tonight and I'm watching a couple of your videos. And I go, oh, good luck to you. You'll be asleep in no time. And then he sent me a little video clip. This has happened a lot of times, and I know many of you have done this, so I'm not naming names, but so many have done this. And they send me a little video clip of me on the screen, and I tell you what, that is a real reality discombobulating effect. Although I'm looking at myself right now as I'm talking to you, and I can watch it again later if I wanted to, but I kind of divorce myself from that. But when someone, a third party, sends me an image of me talking on screen and they're watching it and I'm looking at them watching it on their big, that is a strange sort of mind-bending little experience. Neither good nor bad, just weird. And again, this is what Videodrome was all about. It's addressing technical media, visual media. Could it be remade? Yeah, it could be remade, because certainly, and I'm not saying it should be remade because I think it's genius as it stands, and even though it's using old analog equipment and media, video cassettes, you get the point, you get the gist of big old stupid TV sets. None of your big widescreen jobs, no 3D, no OLED, none of this. It's just little shitty TV screens, which took them a long time to figure out. I think it's Mark Irwin who did the cinematography and the lighting for this movie, another long-term collaborator with Cronenberg, along with Carol Spear, did all the production design work, exemplary stuff, still working for Cronenberg. They said they had to do a lot of stuff. You can't just, back in those days, you couldn't just film someone on a TV screen and film it and have someone, a character in the sort of mid-ground and that playing. You had to have that recorded separately and film it a certain way so it would actually work without the noise bars travelling up and down and flickering and breaking it all up. So a lot of technical innovation had to go into this movie. This movie was also the first time that Cronenberg had a major studio backing him, and it was Universal. Universal had just done, only the year before, The Thing with John Carpenter, who had been an independent movie maker like Cronenberg, and then he gave him his big break and The Thing flopped. Now it's a masterpiece. We all know it. I knew it at the time, but anyway. But it was a flop, and Videodrome itself was a flop as well. It did not do well. Its ideas and concepts were too heady. It was repulsive and repellent to many people. There was no genuine monster. No, who's the antagonist? Who was the villain here? You're crossing over. The guy you are following, Max Wren, is a very charismatic guy because it's James Woods playing him, but he's not a likable guy at the same time. He's a purveyor of filth, porn, and snuff. That's what he wants to do. Hardly the most likable of chaps, and he's ratty and irascible at the same time, and he's smarmy. But you're with him all the way. Well, say all the way. How far into it do you lose who Max Wren actually is? Who is he? Who does he become? An assassin for Videodrome and then an assassin against Videodrome? But he's a murderer. Or is he? You don't know. You don't know what's real and what isn't. And that's the genius, the unending genius of Videodrome. You don't know at any moment, once he's seen that first bit of footage, that 53-second bit of footage of Videodrome, you don't know what's real and what isn't anymore. The actors who play the victims in the Videodrome sequences, they loved it apparently. So much so that some of them actually came back when they weren't needed on set, just to come and watch the rest of the movie being made. They just loved doing it, and yet they're all nude and getting whipped, and the violence in the Videodrome sequences is ultra tame. But of course, because it's S&M and purveying to be snuff, the film had enormous censorship controversy. Canada, one of the most horribly right-wing of places, really did not like anything that Cronenberg was doing. So you had that Samurai Dreams TV softcore porn, which he's trying to buy. And he's like, well, I'm not really interested in this, but it's okay, but it's not the next big thing. I think Videodrome is the next big thing. But you see this lovely Oriental lady in her pagoda take out a big, huge, really large, realistic dildo, and very realistic. And he said, like, the trouble we have with this, he said, and yet we don't see her using it, but we're implying that she's going to use it, but you don't see her using it. But censors, nope, can't have that. And he said, that's anyone becomes sensorial, that's their own personal bias. That's why I don't agree with censors, because like, you don't see her use it, and what's actually wrong with it? It's just this guy, this particular censor didn't like that sequence, so took that out. In the UK, that was missing. In the UK, Barry Convex's death was missing. The cigarette branding was also slightly trimmed. The ear piercing was trimmed. But when you watch this movie now, as out there, as crazy, weird, and kaleidoscopic, and thought expanding as it is, it's actually incredibly tame visually. The effects Rick Baker's effects are wonderful. The insertion of video cassettes into his vaginal tummy is great, and it's done really well. When he's sitting on the couch, James Woods, the real James Woods, is standing up behind the couch, and it's all prosthetic from there, but it looks really good, and his legs are being puppeteered and his arms are being puppeteered. Brilliant stuff. When he stands up though, and we're super skinny, think Christian Bale in The Machinist, he's that skinny. And he's got his hand going in, his right hand is going into his stomach, and it comes out without the gun. Well, that is the one bit I go, his real arm is strapped behind his back. Think Carl Weathers in Predator, but you can't, in this case you can't see it though. But the fake arm looks grey and weird, and it clearly isn't a real arm. But the effects though are really, by and large, incredibly good, because they're real, they're prosthetics and animatronics and air bladders and latex, and it's just tremendous. Debbie Harry does really well, although she's got sort of brownish brunette hair, which is a bit of a shame because she looks way better with the blonde hair. Damn, but that's just me. The acting is great, the names are wonderful. Peter Dvorsky is wonderful. Cronenberg's direction is impeccable. It's only a short movie as well, and then it crams so much in there. It's not even 90 minutes, it's about 84, 85 minutes, even fully uncut. And yet it packs a real sensory overload and a real sort of revelatory wallop. You can see all the things in this movie have happened, have come to fruition. You know they can broadcast signals to you. You know they can corrupt your mind with imagery, with TV. They can coerce you, brainwash you. You know that. We are all sheeple. We have all fallen into this. How many people are slaves to Love Island and just crap like that? Just shit, which is just, it's just a smorgasbord to keep you occupied and diverted away from the real life problems that we've got. And mass media is totally coerced and driven. You are fed down certain routes. You have to go and look for other news sources. You have to look for the real news which is really happening, rather than being driven down, led by the hand down certain directions. Videodrome points to all of this. MTV came out in 1981, so 2 years before this, but MTV's style and giving people this again, MTV was like a Videodrome, the video arena, you know, a gladiatorial area, bands and music and pop jocks and weirdness and, like, you know, instant video sort of pizzazz. It was intoxicating. So in a way, Videodrome, the movie, is a retaliation and a report on the way mass media was being constructed and being delivered to the mass, to the population. And this whole thing about the Moral Crusade, which is the crux of what Videodrome is, Barry Convex and whoever he works for, and Harlan, they have this moral crusade, this evangelical zeal to wipe out the sloths and the filth, the degenerates of North America. Wipe them all out. In a way, think of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and you've got the old Irish warlock, Conal Cochrane, played by Dan O'Herlihy, and his silver shamrock masks with a little device in the back. The biggest trick of all, play it on the kids, because they've forgotten what real Samhain Halloween really is all about. We've got to make the sacrifice so we can see ourselves through to the next year. And Videodrome is that. It's a purge. It's about purging, you know, the people that this ultra right-wing, moralistic, you know, high class can't stand. They don't want these degenerates. Wipe them out. Make America better again. It's called North America, so they're bringing Canada as well, obviously. But we used to be strong, but I've become weak. We're pathetic, you know. We're just sitting there wanking off to porn and all this, you know. And that is what they're getting at. They become a slovenly, debased society. It's wonderful. You think about it. It's a genuinely wonderful movie with so many ideas. When they started making the film, the script wasn't finished. Cronenberg had 10 weeks to shoot, which he thought was a luxurious amount of time to do this, and was frequently rewriting the ending. James Woods even came up with an ending for it. I think James Woods' ending is the one that's in the film. I could be wrong about that, because one of the ideas, well, several of the ideas that Cronenberg had was you're going to have a happy ending. You're going to see all the main characters will be existing in Videodrome, all with multiple new sexual organs protruding from their heads, faces, their bodies, and how bizarre was that? And it'd have like this happy ending orgy. But just ideas that Cronenberg had. But I'm sure it was James Woods that said, like, well, I just keep it simple, just boom, and let people make up their own minds as to where it goes next, what happens to these people, and what really did occur. Is a revolution taking place? Because the film is revolutionary effects, revolutionary ideas, and it's about, figuratively, symbolically, and in reality, a revolution. A lot of things there, isn't it? You just thought it was about Debbie Harry's lips coming out of a TV screen, James Woods putting his hand inside his own stomach, you know, rummaging around. It's a lot more than that. I love it. And I've said many times, I will always stand by this, Cronenberg's films are very cold and austere and clinical and sterile. His early films, shot in Montreal and Toronto, are genuinely cold and austere because it's a chilly environment to be in. And but his characters, as much as you might enjoy their story, you don't empathise with, you don't feel any affinity with them. Now, The one exception, well, the two exceptions to the rule are The Fly, because you love Jeff Goldblum, but that's because of Jeff Goldblum mainly. But in this, I find this film is actually warm. Now, it's a sensual movie. That's essential. It's essentially essential to the plot. But it's also, it's visually warmer. And it's very moist. And Howard Shore's score, you're hearing it now, full of sonorous moans and wails and musical undulations. It's ominous, but it's not dark. It's warm. It's bizarrely seductive, but in a mysterious and sinister sort of way. But it works so well. So Howard Shore's score is the perfect melding of imagery and sound. David Bowie's sound and vision, you know, it's just wonderful. You know, imagine if Bowie had worked with Cronenberg. That could have worked as well, you know. But he got Debbie Harry instead, and she's wonderful. She's genuinely wonderful. James Woods with his skittish sort of edgy, forever like, you know, he's on the edge. You see him slapping his secretary a couple of times, and then but he hasn't done it because he says no, you haven't done it, or maybe he did do it because maybe her saying that you didn't do it, you didn't hit me. That's the hallucination. You don't know. You just don't know. And that's why you can watch it multiple times and put any sort of perspective on it. You're viewing it through the prism of Cronenberg's own kaleidoscopic Pandora's box. Well, there you go. Brian Oblivion should have come out with that line, because that was better. But it is. The more you watch it, the more you experience more levels of what Videodrome is really all about. And it's about a lot of things. Mass media, the gullibility of the masses, manipulation of the senses, brainwashing, a moral crusade, a righteous, rebellious nature against that moral crusade. And it's very prophetic as to what's coming next, what's coming down the line in the techno-communications field. And as we all know, the techno-communications field runs the world. You're watching now on YouTube, a huge platform where anyone can just, like Civic TV, Channel 83, it's based on the whole public access TV where anyone could set up their own little TV channel. It didn't happen in the UK, it happened in America. You could do your own cable channel. Just sit there. And like it was based on one particular one in Toronto, which would actually show softcore porn throughout the night, but during the day would interview people on the streets as to what the politics of what's happening, life on the streets, life, crime, everything. So it was a hyper-aware, localized TV broadcasting channel during the day, but at night time it would show porn. So, you know, it's catering for everybody. But this is what Civic TV and Max Wren's Channel 83 is all about. That's what he's doing. So Cronenberg was basing it on what he'd seen and what existed in his Toronto. And again with the Marshall McLuhan, love that name, Marshall McLuhan, the TV telecommunications prophet guru with Brian Oblivion. He's basing it on things that have happened, but his story manifests itself and then clearly shows, when you look back on it, a mirror of what was about to come. It's genius. I don't care what they say, you know. No death to Videodrome. Long live Videodrome. And the new flesh. Folks, I have been over Shelby Kilt-Man. Please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. Please watch vintage Cronenberg. A man was, is, always shall be an absolute genius. And Videodrome is, it's awesome. I can't really think of any other words beyond that now. I've said enough words. I've Brian Oblivioned myself to death and back, you know. So please go and watch Videodrome. Enjoy, soak it in, feel it, because you will feel it. You'll be wiping your eyes. It's very moist, I tell you. The other moistest movie from the 80s was Reanimator. I'll cover that one day properly. Folks, I've covered the Brood, I've covered Scanners, I've now covered Videodrome. I will cover the Fly. I will swat that Fly. So Jeff, I'm coming for you. Folks, please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. I'm going to see you all leaders in another televisual retina of the mind's eye. In this case, YouTube. Feel free to send me videos of me, of you, watching me, watching you, watching me, watching you.